I've always enjoyed taking late night walks. There's something about the stillness that makes everything feel simpler. I've been a welder for over 40 years, living alone on a large farm with my dog, Bosley. The house is too big for just me, but I couldn't bring myself to downsize after my wife, Maria, passed away. Our kids moved out years ago, and ever since cancer took Maria, it's just been Bosley and me. One night, after a long day in the shop, I decided to go for a walk around the property. It's pretty big, so one loop is usually enough to clear my head. The air was cool, and Bosley trotted beside me, as he always did. As we headed back towards the house, something unusual caught my eye. I looked up at the second-story window, one in the bedroom Maria and I used to share. For just a moment, I thought I saw something move. I stopped, staring up at the window. There shouldn't have been anyone in there. I hadn't set foot in that room for years. It was too painful. My heart began to race, not out of fear, but anger at the thought of an intruder. I rushed inside and ran upstairs, my pulse pounding in my ears. The room was exactly as I'd left it untouched, no signs of anything out of place. I checked everywhere, but found nothing. Still, the uneasy feeling lingered. I tried to convince myself I'd imagined it, but the sensation of being watched didn't leave me. The next night, I was jolted awake by Bosley growling, rare occurrence, since he only barked when something wasn't right. I lay there, listening intently. That's when I heard it, creaking, coming from upstairs. My heart sank as my mind jumped straight to the sound of footsteps. I knew exactly which room those sounds were coming from. I considered grabbing my hunting rifle but decided against it, thinking I could handle whatever was up there on my own. Flashlight in hand, I crept upstairs to find nothing. The room was still as untouched as before, yet I couldn't shake the feeling that something was deeply wrong. The following night, I found the kitchen lights on when I woke up. I was certain I had turned them off before bed. That's when panic began to set in. Someone or something was in my house. I called the police, explaining that I suspected an intruder. They were thorough in their search, but found nothing. Although they were polite, I could tell they didn't believe me. The worst night came soon after. Unable to sleep, I decided to check the bedroom once more. When I opened the door, my blood froze. Maria's clothes I'd carefully packed away after she passed, were scattered all over the floor. And then I saw her. A woman stood in the doorway staring at me. I couldn't make out her face clearly, but I knew she wasn't Maria. She was too short, and her presence felt entirely wrong. Without thinking, I charged at her. She turned and ran down the stairs, out the front door, and vanished into the night. Bosley and I searched the property, but she was gone, leaving no trace behind. For months, I couldn't sleep. Every creak, every small noise sent my mind spiraling. I kept my rifle next to my bed, just in case. I thought about asking my brother to stay with me, but my pride wouldn't allow it. I was raised to handle things on my own. Still, the tension in the house became unbearable. Then, one night, as I sat in the living room, I noticed something in the yard. A figure stood outside, looking in through the window. It was her again. My heart felt like it stopped. I grabbed my rifle and rushed outside, with Bosley at my heels. She was still there, a shadowy silhouette in the moonlight. I fired a few warning shots into the air, hoping to scare her off. She turned and ran into the darkness, but it didn't bring me any relief. I felt no safer, no less tormented. I haven't seen her since that night, but I know it's only a matter of time. I'm prepared to defend myself, but I don't think I can live in constant fear like this forever. Thank God for Bosley. I don't know what I'd do without him. He'll update you if anything else happens, but for now, I'm just trying to keep myself together.